YouTube as well as, and so for those of you who are watching on Facebook Live, feel free to ask your questions. And if you're tuning in for the first time, just know we have a radio show, so that takes precedence. And we're recording this so that we could all share and learn together. So, I forgot to tell you, Robby, it's time to dance.
Yeah, let's go.
Everybody, it's time to dance.
It's a fantastic day. All right, we're going to drop important information today.
That's right. That's right.
It seems like your best ain't good enough. If you're in need of hope, you know where I'll be. I'll be right here, right here. And when you need a friend,
I think you're the best dancer so far that I've had on my show. This is Rip. Rip is like,
Rip's got some skills. Rip has some mad skills.
Unfortunately, we weren't on Facebook Live at the time, but I wish I would have been, because he would have been awesome.
Like you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening friend. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful best day ever. And for those of you who have been tuning in to the Lillian McDermott radio show for like 7.5 years, or maybe you just stumbled upon us yesterday for the first time, then thank you for watching and listening, and welcome back. But if this is the first time that you're tuning in to the show, just know that I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go to when you need a friend. And it is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal. And it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening, as well as my viewing friends on Facebook Live at Lillian's radio show, will feel empowered to embrace this new truth and live the life of your dreams. Now, I've said this so many times, but until you get it, that you are in choice, that we are co-creators, that we can choose, even in dis-ease, you can choose to improve on your health, even if it's a little baby step at a time. Those are the things that are great achievements. And so if you've been told that you have diabetes, pre-diabetes, or pre-diabetes, or you're going to be in your family, there's diabetes, and that you're going to get it someday, tune in, tune up, share. Go on Facebook Live at Lillian's radio show, and you're going to want to share this with everybody that you know that has been told that they'll have to take medication for the rest of their life. But what if you don't have to? What if you could reduce it? What if? Well, in comes this beautiful young man. His name is Robby Barbaro. And Robby is going to teach us, well, he's going to share his journey and how he's been able to work with type 1 diabetes. I don't think I've ever spoken to somebody on the air that has type 1 diabetes, and how he's been able to control it in a different way than I've ever heard, or maybe I wasn't ready to hear it until today. And so we've talked about diabetes type 2, and we've also talked about diabetes type 3. But today we're going to talk about maybe a different perspective of what the allopathic community is not telling us. Maybe they've not learned it a certain way. And so today we're going to be talking to the co-founder of Mastering Diabetes. And this is what I talk about when it comes to 100% responsibility, where you take your experience and you use it to help others for the greater good. And since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I am grateful that Robby Barbaro is here to do just that. Welcome, Robby, to the Lillian McDermott radio show.
Thank you so much for having me. I love your message of empowerment. I mean, this is beautiful. I'm excited to join today.
Well, you know, I'm grateful to you because you are waking up at like 4 o'clock in the morning to be a part of the show. Now it's like really early for you. And so I'm just grateful that you are willing to share this information, because there's a lot of hoarders out there. There's a lot of people that just want to hoard the information, not share it out there. So share a little bit about your background and what led you to want to empower people to master their diabetes.
Yes, I'm happy to share. We have so many people living with diabetes who are confused about what to do, just straight up confused. So I have been living with type 1 diabetes for over 18 years now. So the difference between type 1 and type 2 is that my pancreas has been damaged. They don't know how, they don't know why, but my pancreas has been damaged. And I do not produce a sufficient quantity of insulin. So I'm living with insulin-dependent diabetes. I inject insulin to manage my blood glucose. And that's roughly 10% of all people living with diabetes. The vast majority of people living with diabetes are living with pre-diabetes or type 2 diabetes. That's non-insulin dependent diabetes in most cases. And that can be completely prevented and reversed in a vast majority of cases. So my experience was getting diagnosed with type 1. Of course, I tried a lot of conventional approaches. I tried some alternative approaches, more of like a ketogenic plant-based diet. And it wasn't until I found a low-fat, plant-based, whole food diet with full of fruits. I know the people on the radio can't see behind me, but I got a lot of fruit behind me. People on Facebook Live and YouTube. I can eat these foods and have optimal diabetes health. And that's really part of the main message here today, is that carbohydrate-rich foods are actually the solution to diabetes because they maximize one's insulin sensitivity. So the cause of prediabetes and the cause of type 2 diabetes is insulin resistance. That's when your body is not have the ability to take glucose out of the bloodstream into its cells. That process becomes inefficient. And that same process becomes problematic in people living with type 1 diabetes and type 1.5 diabetes as well.
Yeah, this type 1.5 diabetes, I guess is that the pre-diabetes, or is that like?
No, it's different. So pre-diabetes is before you become type 2.
Okay. Okay. So here we go. This is what we're going to be talking about today. If you are diabetic and you have any questions during the broadcast or comment at Lillian's radio show on Facebook Live, let's have this conversation. Let's make it real. It is time to take our health back. And we're going to continue our conversation with Robby Barbaro at masteringdiabetes.org. That's where you can find him when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. Great, 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 great. Okay, so for those of you who are watching on Facebook Live, come out from wherever you are and let us know where you're from. Because I cannot see you unless you say you're here. Yesterday we did a show and we had so much like hearts and thumbs up and like it was like, oh my God, I'd love to see that again, because this is a topic, Robby, that we do not talk about. Insulin resistive. Yes, we hear about diabetes and we have all these preconceived notions. Why hasn't this changed into the allopathic world?
You're exactly right. People are not talking about insulin resistance. The diabetes community is fixated on blood glucose levels and A1C numbers. And that's where the confusion sets in, and people start following a low carbohydrate or a ketogenic diet, and they see their blood glucose come down, they see where their A1C come down, and they think they have solved diabetes, but they've actually made the condition worse. By following a high-fat diet. They've actually increased their level of insulin resistance, and they've made themselves carbohydrate intolerant. So if they go and eat a banana, they go and eat some blueberries, they try and have some potatoes, their blood glucose skyrockets. And that's where the diabetes community is confused.
Why do you think it continues? Because it just keeps going and going and going. Why isn't the community saying, let me listen to what you have to say? Because what you have to say, you're talking about the long-term effects, where short-term, everybody's like, oh yeah, I was able to do this. But the long-term effect, this was the first time I really listened and learned that the long-term effects of a high fat, high protein, is it high protein, high fat, yes, low carbs, can eventually lead to heart disease.
There's no question. These diets are a huge problem in the long term, huge problem. And there's no long-term societies who have followed these approaches. Yeah. So the people who've actually lived the longest, healthiest, longest lives have followed a high carbohydrate diet.
Here we go. This is part 2.
I'll be right here.
I want to talk about that, about the allopathic community and the
You
different.
can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 407-373-5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
And welcome back to the Lillian McDermott radio show, where we always learn and grow together. And today's teacher is Robby Barbaro, who is one of the co-founders of Mastering Diabetes. And so today we're going to hear something a little different than what we're used to. And I ask that you consider it. Just consider it. I'm not telling you to embrace it as your new truth, but research it and see if what you're hearing is true. I ask that you research everything, because anyone can become an expert, you know, especially a Google expert. You don't know, but we've checked. Robby, share a little bit about what gives you what is the education that you've been experiencing, that you've been able to go out there and share this message out into the world.
Yeah, so I'd like to start with, first off, personal experience.
Okay.
And then, working with thousands of clients, and then also being able to learn and connect with the world's leading experts in this field and really glean from their experience as well. And they've worked with tens of thousands of people over these years. And the message is consistent. A low-fat, plant-based, whole food diet optimizes insulin sensitivity in every single case. There is no exception. The fact is that people are confused about what an actual low-fat diet is. Mm-hmm. So that's one part. So if people look at the research, they'll say, oh, I've read studies. I looked on the internet. I Googled. I saw there were studies that compared a low-fat diet to a low-carbohydrate diet, or a low-fat diet to a ketogenic diet. In those cases, in the research, they did not do an actually low-fat diet. They call that 30% of calories from fat being low-fat. That's not what we're talking about. That's more than double what we're saying. Maximum of 15% of calories coming from fat. So that's a low-fat diet. My personal experience, I, as a person living with type 1 diabetes, eat over 700 grams of carbohydrate per day. And any conventional diabetes teacher would be like, that is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And they would think that I would need to take an absurd amount of insulin to cover those carbohydrates. And it's actually not true. I take a healthy, normal amount of insulin that my pancreas would have normally secreted if it wasn't damaged and not producing its own insulin. So you can calculate that by going roughly, if a person living with type 1 diabetes is listening to this, you can calculate what your normal physiological insulin would be by taking your body weight in kilograms and multiplying that times 0.6. And that'll give you a roughly ballpark number of how much insulin your pancreas would have normally secreted before it was damaged. So,
okay, so can you repeat that again? Because that's important.
Absolutely. So you take your body weight in kilograms and multiply it times 0.6. And that'll give you a number of like ballpark, okay, what's the total amount of insulin that I would normally be injecting? Again, that applies for people living with type 1, where their pancreas is producing little to no insulin. What
if you can't do the kilogram conversion of your weight?
That's when you use Google. You divide it by 2.2.
Okay, there we go. Okay,
yeah.
I'm just metric deficient.
Sure.
Go ahead.
But and so we can also measure insulin sensitivity. An easy way to measure insulin sensitivity for people who are not using insulin. They're having with pre-diabetes or type 2 diabetes. One of the best ways is simply just the fasting blood glucose level. That can be one of the best ways. We can also test, what's going on. You do a 2-hour after your meal reading, and we see time and time again, people start eating more and more carbohydrate from whole plant foods, and these numbers drop, and they are mind blown. And people come to our retreats. They see this happen in a 4-day period. They cannot believe it. Wow, I can't believe I ate all that carbohydrate and my fasting blood glucose is lower and I've reduced my medication. And that's a clear indication that what's happening here is that the insulin inside their own body is beginning to work properly. And that's why they can reduce their medications. That's why they can eat more grams of carbohydrate and see their blood glucose come down into the normal range.
Okay, so I do want to talk about what is normal food intake, because, we've had people that are vegan, and, at the beginning when I would let's talk about all these different forms. To me, a step closer to a whole food plant-based diet is a step closer to health. And so I would introduce these people. Now I say, listen, if you're going to talk about paleo, let's talk about paleo as a whole food plant-based. If we're going to talk about this, let's talk about whole food plant-based. And so now I have some parameters because, you're curious and you want to learn, but then you say, okay, does one size fit all, Robby? Does everybody? Because I know people that are whole food plant-based and have lost too much weight and it doesn't look healthy anymore. And so what do you say to people like that? Is this everybody did this, can you make that statement, their diabetes not only would go down, but their future predisposition to heart disease would go down as well?
So I love this question. This is exactly why Cyrus and I created a coaching program, because we know there are a lot of nuances and there's individual variability, and those issues must be addressed. Okay. And we do that in our coaching program. With that said, the overall diet, I do believe there is essentially one diet for everybody. I think each species has a species-specific diet. Mm-hmm. If you take a lion and the lion's in Africa, or you move the lion, to somewhere in America, that you're going to feed the lion the same food. There's a species-specific diet. So human beings are designed to run on carbohydrate. Okay, we're not designed to be a fat-burning machine. So plant-based foods that are high in carbohydrate energy are the ideal sources of calories for human beings. So that's fruits, starchy vegetables, legumes, and intact whole grains. Those 4 categories, those need to be the base of a healthy plant-based diet. And then you add on top the non-starchy vegetables, the leafy greens, the herbs and spices. Those are additions. But the core is you have to eat enough calories from these these carbohydrate-rich foods.
Okay, great. That's good. Now, let me go back a little bit because, I love moving forward. But for people, we've talked about diabetes a lot. Insulin resistive. Being insulin resistant, what is that? And how does that affect our body in an overall?
Okay.
In a higher view.
Yes. So insulin resistance, what that is when your body is not efficient at taking glucose out of your bloodstream and into your cells. So it's insulin's job to open the door of your cells. Okay. It opens the door so glucose can be ushered in. And when that process is inhibited, there's a wide range of reasons that it could be. The primary reason is that there's too much fat stored inside your muscle and liver cells. Mm-hmm. So when you have too much fat inside there, the ability for insulin to open the door, it's like the key got gummed up and the lock can't be opened. So then the glucose ends up staying in the bloodstream. You have a high blood glucose, and then people have diabetes. So that's what's happening. That's what insulin resistance is. And the simple way to reverse it, again, it's incredibly simple, mind-blowingly simple, is to stop eating excessive fat. And then the body takes care of itself. It starts getting rid of the excess fat it doesn't need inside the cells. So what's happening is fat is being stored in tissues where it's not designed to be. Fat's supposed to be in adipose tissue. Okay? Fat belongs in fat tissue. When you're eating too much and it's getting stored in muscle and liver tissue, now you're beginning to have problems developing insulin resistance, and the problem can be solved quite easily.
Now, is there a test to know if you have fat in your liver or if there's fat in your muscle? I mean, how do you know that this is why you have insulin resistance?
So there could be some, expensive tests like fMRI tests. We've done some peer-reviewed research on that, but nobody's going to be able to go to a lab and get that done. Really, one of the simple ways is to look at blood glucose. I mean, that's one way. It's not an ideal way, because your body can still overpower the insulin resistance situation by producing more and more insulin. So you can be insulin resistant and still have, a good blood glucose reading. So really the ideal way would be to go to your doctor and to get a oral glucose tolerance test and have insulin tested at the same time. So they will see how much insulin your pancreas is secreting as it's processing the glucose that has been consumed in the carbohydrate challenge.
Okay.
That would be the ideal way to go and see what's going on with your insulin sensitivity at an affordable rate.
Very good. Okay. So with that in mind, we all understand that we have diabetes and we get scared. We said, okay, you need to take medication. For someone who has heard that, the quickest way to reverse diabetes is low fat, low fat, high carbs.
So
Which is
we use 3 specific phrases: low fat, plant-based, whole food. So low fat means no more than 15% of total calories coming from fat. Another way to look at that is no more than 30 grams of total fat per day. All right, that's low fat. Plant-based means ideally exclusively plants, or very minimal amounts of something not a plant. Then whole food means unprocessed. When we're talking about intact whole grains, ideally we're talking about things such as oat groats, not rolled oats. Okay, we're talking about brown rice, not refined white rice. We're talking about the whole food. And that's the same thing when it comes to fruit. Talk about eating the whole fruit, minimizing smoothies, minimizing juices. There's all these products out there. The Mastering Diabetes program is truly based on simple, whole foods, just as nature has provided.
Okay, I love it. Okay, so now with that in mind, and I said this to you off the air, I have never counted a calorie. I don't know how many calories in food. I don't know my portion sizes. I eat kind of intuitively. And it's led me to a whole food plant-based, which, I'm thinking, hey, I can have anything I want. So let's talk about, I love avocados and I love nuts, but I don't eat that only. I eat lots of vegetables. I eat lots of fruit. But when I hear high fat, how much fat is in an avocado? How many avocados can I have to equate 15%?
Okay, so roughly about a fourth of an avocado
what?
A day.
Oh
yes.
Man, I'm overdoing it then.
Most people are, and they don't know. And I think using nutrition software just for a short period of time is a great exercise in awareness. We don't tell people to count calories at Mastering Diabetes. We do tell people to become aware of their fat intake. And if they're living with insulin-dependent diabetes, we teach people how to count their carbohydrate intake so they know how much insulin to inject. So to do that, you put food into nutrition software, and of course, it gives you the calories. But we tell people to literally not look at it, don't think about it, don't control your calories, don't limit the food you eat. This is an unlimited approach. When we have a green light, yellow light, red light category. The green light foods literally eat as much as you want. So in your case, this is very typical. People, they learn about a plant-based diet, they start eating these healthy foods, but they don't understand how much fat is in some particular plant foods. So avocado, nuts and seeds, coconut meat, olives, these are healthy foods, but we put them in our yellow light category because you want to be careful with the quantity you're consuming. Easy much of those.
Okay, so I've got like a bajillion questions from that because we've been told protein. You need so much protein, and where do we find the protein? Is there enough protein? There's not enough protein. A piece of meat has so much more protein than a piece of, avocado or a green leafy vegetable. And so I'm gonna hold off that answer because we're going to go on a break on the air. And so we're going to continue our conversation off the air at Lillian's radio show. I encourage you to join this conversation if you want to ask any questions that you're hearing today because it's so foreign. 407-373-5959. You can call, text, or you can make comments at Lillian's Radio Show on Facebook.com. And we'll be right back waiting for you. We'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. Okay. I'm trying to get this. This is one of the things that I was going through when I was researching what you're doing. Now, I also, because I eat a whole food plant-based, I eat lots of avocados. I would say I would probably, if I were to be honest with myself, I probably eat about an avocado a day in different ways, in different, for different reasons. Not all in one. I don't just sit there and go, although I've been known to do that. Then I will have cream, unsweetened coconut cream milk too, like with blueberries and some nuts. I might have a tiny little handful and I'll chop them up and I'll put it in my blueberries, and I'll add chia seeds, I'll add hemp seeds, flax seeds, and of course I top that with creamy, the cream coconut. I'm like, I'm
It
like,
wouldn't
I'm
surprise
adding,
me
I'm
if
adding.
30 to 50% of calories from fat. It wouldn't surprise me.
Because I'm thinking, I need more protein. I need more protein. I'm getting older.
That's unfortunately. I mean, we'll cover it when we get back from the break for the radio
Well, you
show.
can
But
give us like a little bit of it. We
yeah,
can go
I
over
mean,
that. Yes.
the concern about protein is it's really laughable. I mean, do you know anybody with a protein deficiency?
Well, they're saying that there is a group of people saying that there is a protein deficiency that can occur if we're not having enough protein. What is enough protein? There's, and I don't, because we've been compared like to sheep in the Bible. We're like sheep, right? And what are sheep? They're pretty dumb.
It's crazy, but
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. It's like,
there's more than enough protein in whole plant foods. And again, this goes back to that exercise of taking the time to just put what you eat into nutrition software. I use Chronometer, Crono, Chronometer. It's a free software, and people are shocked to see when you eat enough calories from any category of foods, you're going to get enough protein. It's particularly plant-based foods.
okay, so if I don't have avocados and I don't have my coconuts and I sprinkle even more shredded coconut, everything is unsweetened. I think I'll be hungry.
Okay, so this is a fantastic conversation. This is so important. This is why those foods are very calorie dense. Okay, there's a lot of calories in a small bite there. So what you'll have to learn how to do is eat a larger volume of carbohydrate-rich foods. That's more fruit, non-starchy vegetables like potatoes, butternut squash, yams. Then we're in the legumes, so beans, peas, lentils, and intact whole grains, whether you want to do quinoa, barley, millet. These foods, these are all part of healthy plant-based foods that have plenty of protein, plenty of fat. Yes, those foods have fat, and they have the cleanest form of carbohydrate energy that you can access, and just results in optimal metabolic health.
Okay, so I eat a lot of beans. I can't imagine eating more beans. So like if I were to, I'm already thinking, how am I going to adjust my food? So if I were to take my bowl of blueberries and add lentils, for example,
Yes.
I can reduce my fat with avocado.
So in this case, if you take out the high-fat food, like just either drastically reduce the amount or just take it out, then you get to consume a larger volume of other things like lentils or more fruit or a potato.
Okay, we're about to go back on the air. So Robby, this is where I talk about my show and how people can get a hold of me, and then I'll reintroduce you again, okay? Perfect. Okay. For those of you on Facebook Live, thank you so much for joining us. Let us know where you're from, because I cannot see you unless you make a comment or you let us know you're there. So let me know if you have any questions for Robby, and we'll address them. Here we go. It's time to dance, Robby.
Oh yeah, we're doing this. We're up early. We're telling people to eat some plants.
You can text Lillian McDermott
Oh
or
boy,
leave
I'm in for it today.
0737.
Fire, guys.
Oh.
Once again,
You're about to go on the air. Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where we always learn and grow together. Today's teacher is Robby Barbaro, and I am like, oh my God, do I have to shift again? Do I have to change my way of eating again? But this is what we are talking about today, and what we always talk about on the Lillian McDermott Radio Show is how to take personal ownership of our life. I think I'm taking in too much fat because I love avocados, I love coconut, I love all these things. And sometimes we do love things, but they affect our body. And I have shared on the show many times that I'm experiencing some gastric issues that has been going on. And it could be, but as I was researching this, it could be that I'm taking in too much protein from avocado. And so I am learning, this is my classroom. And this is, hopefully you guys are learning from all these wonderful teachers that we're having on the air. So I ask you that if you haven't done so already, go to whenyouneedafriend.com. Please become a subscriber. And when you subscribe, you get all the audios of the show sent to your smartphone or tablet, wherever it is that you get your emails. Also, when you subscribe to the YouTube channel, because I've got a lot of different buttons that you can find at whenyouneedafriend.com. So when you click onto my social media, then you'll know when we have a Facebook Live, or when we have, you know, when you miss the Facebook Live and you want to, you know, maybe watch it and you want the show to be sent to you, you can go to my YouTube channel, subscribe there too, and the shows get sent to you. So if you can't listen on the radio, or you can't listen on Facebook Live, and you can watch or hear, maybe you don't like social media, and maybe you don't like YouTube, and you're a podcast person, then you can go on podcast as well, subscribe, and those shows will be sent to you. So there's so many different ways that we can stay connected while you are at whenyouneedafriend.com. I ask that you please check out my sponsors. Without my sponsors, there would be no show. Liberty Health Share is my show, my sponsor for the radio and on and off the air. Of course, when you go to whenyouneedafriend.com, you could click on to the different, you know, the affiliates that I have, affiliate sponsors, whether it's on Facebook Live or on whenyouneedafriend.com. But there's so many different ways we can save and so many different ways to heal. So I want to encourage you to do that. Now, also, the one last thing that I ask is that if you have any questions, another way that we can be connected is that you could email me at lily@whenyouneedafriend.com, or you can call or text me on the show, off the air. I may not answer the phone, but still leave a message. So just leave a message. I answer and I respond everybody. So 407-373-5959. If you're watching on at Lillian's radio show on Facebook Live, so that's facebook.com/Lillian's radio show, then you can watch this and make comments while we are live on and off the air. So today we have our teacher, Robby Barbaro. He is co-founder of Mastering Diabetes. This is the first time that I'm really looking at what could be causing some of the issues that are happening in my life. I eat clean. I eat whole food, plant-based. If you go on Facebook Live at Lillian's radio show right now, you will see behind Robby all these beautiful bananas and fruits and vegetables. It's almost like a picture. And so I want more of that. I don't know about you, but I want more health. And so it's time to take our health back. What does it look like? Even if you think you're eating well, perhaps something is better there for you. So Robby, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom today. And I had so many questions about how much animal products, not animal products, but the whole food plant-based, I'm eating a lot of avocado. We've already identified I'm eating too much avocado. I'm eating too much coconut. So let's talk about more about that. Let's say this is the on-air conversation that we get to have.
And your reaction, I remember when you just came back on the air, you're like, oh, I might have to change my diet again. And I know this stuff can be overwhelming. And something we're really passionate about advocating for at Mastering Diabetes is slow change, and also just telling yourself, you know what, I'm going to do a 7-day experiment. I'm just going to try this out. It's fun, it's enjoyable, and we are passionate about people loving their food. You should really, really love it. So,
and I love whole food plant-based. I'm
for sure. And, you know, look, I know it might be a lot of people like, oh, I don't want to reduce my avocado. But I'm not saying no avocado. We're just going to have a small amount. But we're going to add other amazing foods, very satisfying, delicious. And if you love to eat, which I sure do.
I do too.
One part about this is you get to increase your volume of food. You actually eat more food and way less on the Mastering Diabetes program.
Well, that's what I said to you off the air. It's that I love to eat, but I'm constantly hungry. I'm always hungry. And so when I think about that, I think, okay, if I just have fruits and I just have greens without that much fat, I'm going to be hungry. And I have lots of beans.
This is a big deal. This is the number one reason people fail on a low-fat, plant-based whole food diet. Okay. It's because they don't eat enough calorie-dense plant foods. So they start following this diet. They're like, oh, salads are really healthy. I'm going to eat a bunch of salads, and it doesn't give them enough energy. And then they start eating things like potatoes and beans. But because the calorie density of those foods is so much less than the foods they were eating previously, they don't eat a large enough volume. So the stomach is a muscle, and it will actually expand. You're kind of like working out your muscle as you begin to transition to you're working out your stomach as you begin to transition to a low-fat, plant-based whole food diet, because it's going to be able to handle a larger volume of food as you increase the food you're eating. We encourage people to make a transition: first breakfast, then lunch, then dinner. In your case, you could just transition one meal at a time and make one meal more low-fat, and the next meal more low-fat, and just continue to modify that. But calorie density is a huge, huge concept in the Mastering Diabetes program. And basically, we have broken food into green light, yellow light, and red light categories.
Okay.
Right? So green light category, I listed already. I'll go through it again. Fruits, that's all fruits you can think of, okay? Bananas, papayas, mangoes, pears, peaches, all fruits. Green light means you get to eat as much as you want. You do not need to limit how much of these foods you consume. Now,
is there a fruit, Robby, that you cannot have as diabetic? Because I've heard so many diabetics say, "Oh, I can't have fruit."
That's one of the reasons we do what we do here. I'm so passionate about this. The answer is no, as long as it's a whole fruit. And the reason people struggle with that is because they're living with insulin resistance, and they blame the fruit. So they eat a banana, they see their blood glucose skyrocket to 200, 300, and they say, "Robby, how can you tell me that it wasn't the banana's fault? I just ate the banana and my blood glucose is high." And I say, I understand your logic. But what the real problem is insulin resistance. It's that you've eaten yourself into a state of carbohydrate intolerance. So when you eat foods that your body should be able to process, it struggles and your blood glucose is high. When you remove insulin resistance, you get the fat out of your diet, you start maximizing your insulin sensitivity. You eat that banana, no problem, your blood glucose is perfect. So yes, fruits, all of them. Then
How much fruit? Because how many bananas do you eat in a day?
Okay, so it's hard for me to answer that question because bananas are different sizes. If it was I also eat more than just bananas in a day.
Yes. So, okay. So,
but really the key answer is for helping people apply this in their life is that as much as you want until you are satisfied. And if you get hungry an hour later because you're just transitioning and you can't eat a lot in one sitting, then you get to eat more. We do not tell people to restrict when they eat or how much they eat. As long as they're eating in the green light foods, eat as much as you want. And so it really, to us, it's very empowering, and it takes away this whole concept of micromanaging and measuring and, counting my calories. It's literally just choose from the right category and eat as much as you want. You're going to get in touch with your body's innate ability to tell you that you're satisfied. This is part of nature's design. We have these satiety mechanisms where the volume of food sends a signal to your brain, the nutrients in your food send signals to your brain and tell you that you've had enough. This is it by design. You don't need to consciously think about what to do here. No other species on the planet is thinking about their food or measuring or counting. They just eat. And we can do that too when we're eating from the appropriate categories of food. Okay. So green light, fruits, starchy vegetables, potatoes, yams, butternut squash, okay? Then we go into legumes. We're talking beans, peas, lentils, and then we go into intact whole grains. Non-starchy vegetables, so that's like cauliflower, eggplant. Then we have leafy greens, herbs and spices, mushrooms as well. All those foods, they're low in calorie density. But here's the key. They're listed in a specific order. The 4 categories at the top are going to have more calories per bite. If you just focused on non-starchy vegetables and leafy greens, you're going to struggle. You're going to not have enough energy. And what happens is people start adopting this diet. They eat a lot of greens, a lot of non-starchy vegetables, don't eat enough of the starchier foods, the calorie-providing foods, and then they go and have a cheeseburger. Or they go and they have, a processed, plant-based burger or something, and they feel better because they finally got energy. They got the calories they needed. It wasn't because those foods are better or more nutritious. It's because they need to learn how to eat enough food.
Okay, so the calorie rich. Okay, so there's just so many things. Obviously, we cannot do this in one show. And after the show, we're going to probably go into a little bit more nitty gritty. So you can follow us at facebook.com at Lillian's Radio Show. But let's talk about, when we talk about people who are diabetic, they're probably hearing this going, oh my gosh, and how are we gonna get all this down? So when we come back from the break, we're going to talk a little bit more of how do we get the proper coaching? And we're going to continue our conversation worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com and on facebook.com at Lillian's Radio Show when we return, worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. Okay, this is what kind of coaching are you offering for people? Like do you have like a downloadable if people become like a subscriber? Can we download like what to eat in a day type of thing?
We provide a wide range of resources. There's a lot of things people can get for free. So on the masteringdiabetes.org homepage in the upper right, people can download a free PDF. It's an insulin resistance crash course. Everything you need to know about insulin resistance and what to eat. That's a great resource. We also have a online summit with the world's leading experts. I think many of these people you have interviewed.
Yeah.
Joel Furman, Dean Ornish.
Interviewed him too.
Matt Letterman, Michael Greger, big names.
Yeah.
These are free interviews that really teach people the science and the nuances around a wide range of topics here. We got Michelle McMacken, Rob Osfeld. So we're talking about heart disease or gut health or, kidney or fatty liver. We really address it all because diabetes is correlated with all those other conditions. They're all sort of come together. Mm-hmm. So we got the free summit. We have a particular video on YouTube called Insulin Resistance Diet, What to Eat and Why. Okay. And that video has over 1 million views. That's a lecture that Cyrus gave in Torrance, California. And that's really a fantastic resource that has helped a lot of people. People can find that on YouTube. We have a podcast coming out with a new show every week. We have a YouTube channel. We write articles on our website. So really the best thing to do is sign up for the newsletter, and people will continue to get these free resources sent to them.
Yes. And for those of you who are watching on Facebook Live, would love to hear where you're watching from. Just send us a little bit of and if you have any questions, feel free to ask any questions that you have. Although I eat a nutritarian lifestyle, I wasn't getting the fact that I can eat as much as I want. So I'll have a banana and I'll think, okay, that's enough of banana. I can't have any more than that banana. I don't even buy avocados anymore. Not avocados, mangoes anymore because they're so high in sugar. And I mean, I've been indoctrinated.
We have to talk about this. We must talk about this, please. The fact that people are concerned about the sugar inside a mango is problematic is depressing to me. I am so passionate about dispelling this myth, okay? The glucose, the fructose, all that stuff found inside fruit is completely different than processed sugar. It comes in a package with a bunch of fiber, water, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, phytochemicals, and how that behaves in your body is completely different than the issues that are coming from processed sugar, high fructose corn syrup, table sugar, all the studies on that stuff. It's completely different. The research shows that people who eat more fruit have better health outcomes, plain and clear.
Okay. So I'm going to accept your challenge. I'm going to try it for 7 days, and I'm going to see how I feel, and we're going to have you back.
I want you to tag me.
Tag you?
On Instagram. I want to see what you're eating.
Oh, okay. You want me to do pictures?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm going to need a crash course. So I'm
or leave her a voicemail at 407-373-5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where I am learning how to eat. And actually, I eat a whole food plant-based diet. That's how I've promoted that. And of course, not everybody is ready for that. But as I am making choices, I still have this high protein, high fat. This is how, I still have that mentality. And until I started doing research with Mastering Diabetes, I didn't quite get it. I mean, it's like you have hit me, Robby, with a 2x4 across my forehead. And now I'm like looking at what I've been eating. And I know I'm still, like, if you give me 3 avocados in a day, I am just like happy as a clam. But I am not getting all the nutrients. Of course, I know not to do that.
Here's what I mean. If somebody was doing that and having 0 health problems, everything's fine. It's like, okay, let's not worry about it. It's fine, whatever. But you're going through some stuff. You talked about it on the show. Like, let's let this be the day that you give this
something
a
new.
real shot.
Okay, I'm going to give it a real shot.
Limiting fruit, out the window. None more of that.
That's the thing. Okay, I said this off the air, and you said no. We need to have this conversation on the air. Okay, I'll have one banana, and I hear in all these. That's one enough banana. You don't need to have. And I hear Michael Greger say, there isn't. Bananas are 1,600 on the list of potassium. Okay, so let's talk about if I have. And I don't have diabetes, but I feel like I have diabetic-like symptoms, like I'm constantly thirsty. And I've gone to an endocrinologist, and they're saying, oh, your thyroid is good, your blood sugar is great. Now what? Why am I constantly thirsty?
Okay, well, there could be a lot of factors in that, but there's no question you're eating way too much fat, and the fear of fruit is something that is rampant in our society right now, in our culture, and it's really unfortunate. And the point is that the sugars found in fruit are completely different than high fructose corn syrup or table sugar. It's completely different. It comes in a package with water, fiber, vitamins, minerals, phytochemical. I mean, it's just like, it's this nature's perfect package. And we desire these foods, like we crave them because our body's designed to eat these things, okay? Our body's designed to run on glucose. That is the optimal fuel for human health. And getting that straight from whole fruits is an excellent way to optimize your health. You're gonna feel better. You're gonna absolutely feel better once you start to make this transition and don't limit these foods that you like and you reduce the fat. So do you use Instagram?
Yes.
Okay, so do you use Instagram stories?
Yes.
Perfect. So I want you to start tagging me in your photos, and I'll share some, and we'll rally around you. And
okay.
One thing you said is, hey, I don't know what to do. I'm confused, and I don't know what, like.
Well, I'm not confused about the whole food plant-based. It's what I was choosing because I still have this high protein because I'm older than you, much older than you. And as people get older, they need more protein.
So we're going to dispel this by quantifying how much protein you consume. So logging your food intake for just a couple of days. In eating, you're going to find out that just by eating enough calories from plant-based foods, you get more than enough protein.
Okay.
Have that experience. It's like, okay, there's nothing to worry about. I don't need to think about this anymore. Micromanaging protein is completely unnecessary. It's completely unnecessary, and it actually leads to problems.
Okay. I am going to trust you, Robby.
Okay, so
highly recommended. No one on the Lillian McDermott radio show it hasn't been recommended, or I have researched. And so this was time for me. It's time for me because, I talk about learning a new truth and being curious instead of critical. And I am going to consider this. I'm going to accept your challenge for 7 days. 7 days. Excellent. Or should I do longer?
Let's start with 7 and go from there.
Okay, I'll accept it for 7 days. I want you to tell me what to eat, how much to eat, and I'll stop when I'm full. Because my idea is that I am going to be so hungry all day long, and that I'm not going to get not enough calories. Because to me, fruit is like Chinese food. It's like I eat a fruit and I'm hungry. I was like,
So just to be clear, you're going to be eating more than fruit. I mean, you're going to eat, potatoes, rice, all these things, any of them that you want. So, and I'll show you recipes. We'll get you started. And as you begin to learn to eat larger volumes of food, you'll find that you're getting hungry between meals will reduce. Okay. But in the beginning, it doesn't matter. Anytime you're hungry, just go ahead and eat. Have a mango, have a banana, have an apple. That's fast food that you can have while you're traveling. So even
if I am diabetic, for those of you who are listening, I'm not diabetic, but I do have diabetic symptoms. Yeah. And my endocrinologist cannot figure out what it is. It could be that I'm eating too much fat, protein, plant food, fat, protein. Now, with that in mind, when people are diabetic and they're hearing eat whatever you want as long as it's whole food plant-based, as long as it's low fat and it's whole food, I guess I said that again, that their insulin levels will go down. Now, with your coaching, when somebody does that, and they continue taking the same medications because I told you off the air that I was given metformin a long time ago, before I even started the show, way before, because they thought I was insulin resistant back then. And they gave me that, and it almost killed me. That's why my registered service mark is you can take a pill or you can take responsibility. And I am all for changing the way I'm eating or what the choices are. So what do you have to say for someone who is diabetic, who is on insulin, who is on metformin, and now is choosing to try something new?
So this is a great point you're bringing up. And certain medications can be dangerous when people begin to start a low-fat, plant-based, whole food lifestyle. Because, for example, somebody's living with type 2 diabetes and they're injecting short-acting insulin. So they're injecting something like Humalog or Novolog. That can be dangerous because their insulin sensitivity is going to improve so much that they could inject too much insulin, and that could be fatal. So you've got to be careful. The key thing is to be in touch with your doctor, communicate with your doctor about what's going on, and also be very mindful that you're going to need to reduce your medications. There is no question about it. If you truly begin following a low-fat diet, plant-based, whole foods, your medication needs will reduce. Certain medications such as metformin is not as dangerous because it doesn't actually make your body produce more insulin, and it's not insulin itself. So it doesn't actually drive you down into unhealthy low blood glucose level. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to worry with metformin, but you're still going to likely need to reduce metformin. And the way we sort of advise people to do that in conjunction with their physician is that if for 7 days in a row, your fasting blood glucose is under 100, then it's time to reduce a medication like metformin.
Well, mine is like 80. Mine is like 89. Sometimes it goes too low too.
Right. So some medications, if anybody feels low, like they actually have a genuinely true low blood glucose based on any medications they're using, that is another clear sign it's time to reduce your medications and speak with a physician. So, and again, your doctor is there to serve you. Like they're there to help you. Call them, talk to the receptionist, let them know what's going on, and they will support you.
And for those of you who are listening, masteringdiabetes.org to learn more with Robby and Dr. Cyrus as well, can learn a lot more. I encourage you to consider this. I'm not saying dive into it head first. Consider that this may be another way to heal your body. I want to thank you, Robby, for challenging me, because this is how my life changed. I was challenged by a raw vegan 6 years ago. I accepted the challenge and I started to feel better. I didn't know that I could feel better. I already felt great. Some of us don't know that we are sick and we don't even know it. And so feeling better is always good. And so thank you so much for challenging me. I accept your challenge. We're going to have you back and we're going to talk about all the things, all the questions that you might have today, my listening friend, my viewers on Facebook as well. And we're going to really dive into this. So thank you so much, Robby, for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
And to you, my listening friends and my viewing friends, it is time to get Chronometer, because I'm going to do that. I've got it already. I just need to use it. And we're going to take our health back. Please remember, I'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com and at facebook.com, Facebook Live at Lillian's radio show. And this is Lillian McDermott wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever.
The best day ever.
Yes, that's the best ever. Okay, so with that in mind, I want to know what you eat for breakfast.
I'd love to tell you. So you're actually getting challenged by another raw vegan. So I don't really talk about that. I emphasize the fact that I follow a low-fat, plant-based, whole food lifestyle.
Yeah.
And of those categories of food in the green light category, I eat exclusively fruits, non-starchy vegetables, and leafy greens. That's what I eat.
Non-starchy vegetables.
For over 12 years now. So for breakfast, let's see. I'm going to tell you what I had yesterday. I had blueberries, papayas, arugula, and bananas. So this
I love combining greens with fruits.
Good. That's going to be huge because I'm serious about this Instagram challenge, Lillian. I post my Chronometer data almost every day on Instagram. I post everything I eat on Instagram. I'm going to challenge you to do the same thing. share this data, become transparent, show us what you're actually doing, because what people think they're doing it, but usually they're not. So until I see it, I genuinely don't believe it. And I mean that.
So how do I get Chronometer on my phone? Because that's my issue. It's on my computer, and by the time
just go to the app store.
I am older than you, and I was bumped in the head. So by the time I get to my computer, I forget everything I ate.
No, it's okay. It's okay. But the ingredients are gonna be so simple that it won't be that hard to log your food intake.
Okay. So
you download the app from the app store. It's free.
The what?
You download the app from the app store. It's free.
Okay, I'm gonna get Chronometer, and there was another app I needed to get. WeChat. I need to get WeChat because apparently WhatsApp is no longer important, for people. So it's now WeChat. So I need to get that.
Things change quickly.
They do, don't they? So life happens when you're doing a radio show. Okay, so I'm going to get that. That's my first goal, is to get Chronometer on my phone.
And you know how to tag me? Like, let me go see if your story. Do you really actually post stories?
Yeah. I did. I think I did.
Okay, so here we go. You have there we go. I found you. 4,193 followers. There's the picture of me. Okay, I'm gonna watch your story now.
Here's my last story. I think that's.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So and now you know how to tag me in your stories.
Yes.
Okay. At Mindful Diabetic Robby, and tag at Mastering Diabetes. Tag us both.
Okay. At Mastering Diabetes.
Yep, and then at Mindful Diabetic Robby. Once you type in mindful, that should pop up.
Mindful. Oh, my pen. See? Yeah, my pen just gave out. Mindful Diabetic Robby. And it's Mastering Diabetes.
Yep.
Okay.
And I got people all over the world now doing a Kent mango challenge. People are finding Kent mangoes, a particular variety that's available right now at almost all grocery stores. It's
Kent.
Kent. It's got excellent flavor.
I love mangoes. I love mangoes, but I've been concerned about fruit in my sugar intake. You see, this is the myths that we have got to stop.
100%. And I like that I do want you to eat greens with your high carbohydrate meals right now, because you definitely are insulin resistant. With all the fat you're eating, you're not maximizing your insulin sensitivity. So during this transition process, adding in greens and non-starchy vegetables is going to prevent, any sort of big spike. It's going to just sort of lower the glucose curve. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I love my endocrinologist, but I'm sending this video to her.
Please do. I mean, yes, do it. I mean, send them this one, and also send them the insulin resistance diet, what to eat and why video.
Yeah, I am. Okay, because I also have a thyroid condition. So I would love to eliminate that altogether. Yeah. So I just changed my water, and we're going to be doing a water fast with Dr. Clapper.
Excellent.
And so I don't want any more fluoride in my water. I don't want any more chlorine in my water. So I've got 2 systems right now, and I'm doing a side-by-side comparison before we do this fast. So go ahead. So,
when are you doing the fast?
In February.
Excellent.
Towards the end of February, you want to join us?
This is beautiful. Dr. Clapper would be very proud of you, because now part of doing a fast successfully, I did an internship at a fasting facility in Costa Rica. Mm-hmm. Got to learn a little bit about it, some of the basics, but you want to go into it in a very clean way. And by doing this Mastering Diabetes program here for 7 days and setting yourself up for success, it's going to make your fasting experience even better.
Very good. Very good. Okay. So with that in mind, I am going to take pictures. I'm going to get a Chronometer for breakfast. I haven't eaten breakfast yet because I've been drinking my water, and I've had some hibiscus tea that's organic. And so I normally have blueberries with chia and flaxseed, and then I'll add coconut. I love my coconut cream, unsweetened, and avocados and walnuts. And so I need to make some lentils and maybe add some lentils to my blueberries.
Sure, absolutely. So do you do your flax seeds ground?
Yes.
Okay, good. So a tablespoon or so of ground flaxseed, keep that. That's fine. Okay. Do that on a regular basis. That is part of our program. We tell people to have ground flax seeds or ground chia seeds with their breakfast.
And today I'm going to run out and I'm going to get a lot of fruits. I don't get a lot other than blueberries and other than berries and bananas. That's all the fruit I have.
I want you to document this
Strawberries.
whole journey. Like, tag me in your fruit haul. I want to see what you get. Like, have you seen my Instagram yet? Have you seen my fruit hauls?
No, I guess I will
Hopefully that
now.
gets you inspired. When you're at the grocery store and you think you've bought enough fruit, I want you to double it.
Really?
Yeah.
I just don't like it going bad. Can I just cut it up and freeze it? I just
It
don't
won't
like
go
it
bad.
going bad.
It won't go bad because you're gonna eat it. And number one, or you can put some in the fridge and that'll make it last longer, or you can put it in the freezer. Just go big. Don't let that be a concern.
Okay, then the next thing I want to know is avocados. I'm not. See, I love avocados. I love guacamole, and I love all these things. Okay, so with a mango, which I have stopped having mangoes because of the sugar. I'm going to buy a whole flat of mangoes today.
Perfect.
Does it have to be organic?
No. So I personally don't eat organic mangoes or papaya. The way I do it is if I eat the skin, I personally make it organic. It's because I live in a place where I can, and it's an option for me. But if it's really for those who look, it's not available or they just can't afford it, it doesn't matter. Eating plant-based foods that are conventionally grown is way better than eating processed foods or animal products. Mm-hmm. So it's a low concern for most people who are making this transition. So I actually find that in a lot of cases, the conventional stuff tastes better because there's just more options. Like there's not that many options of organic mangoes, but these ones behind me, I buy particular brands that are good and the flavor's there and you got to enjoy your food. So
yeah,
I would organic and not like it.
Now, if you get, which I love mangoes, I could eat mangoes all day long. And so I'm thinking, well, if I need to have protein. So if I'm going to choose a mango, I'll have over a avocado, I'll have the avocado because now I'm dealing with protein, I'm dealing with fat, I'm dealing with, so I guess this is the last detachment.
Good.
The conventional eating, even though I didn't eat the standard American diet as much as others, I still have that mentality.
It's a good detachment from micromanaging any particular macronutrient. That's something you can you really, you'll begin to let go of once you're going to be aware of reducing your fat, but micromanaging protein intake or counting carbohydrate or limiting a mango because it's too high in sugar, that's just going to go out the window.
Right now you have all these diabetics going, this is insane. All I'm saying is consider it. Now, consider it. Can people reach out to you at masteringdiabetes.org, Robby?
Absolutely.
Say, I want some quick coaching. Do you do coaching one-on-one or do you do group coaching? And
there's a lot of ways to reach us. So yes, our primary offering at Mastering Diabetes, in addition to our free education and the summit that we do every year, is we provide online group coaching. We also provide small group coaching and we provide private coaching. So we help people on whatever levels of support they need, we're there. And we have a robust program that's broken up into 3 different aspects. The first part is an online course that teaches people everything they need to know about living with any form of diabetes and transitioning to this low-fat, plant-based whole food diet.
And is that free, the online course?
That's part of the paid coaching program.
Okay.
So the paid coaching program includes an online course. It includes a private Facebook group and a forum inside the online course. So if somebody's not a Facebook user, they can still get support from our coaches. And we answer questions within 24 hours. Okay. Any question somebody has, what should I eat? Why is my blood glucose high? What should I say to my doctor? Any question. We answer that within 24 hours by one of our amazing coaches. We have 2 coaches in there who have reversed type 2 diabetes, Adam Sudd, and I know you know Mark Ramirez. He's a coach in our program.
Mark, I love Mark. I love Mark and Kim Ramirez.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And we also have Kylie Buckner, who's a registered nurse with over 20 years of experience, and she's in there coaching people as well. And then myself and Cyrus in there answering questions when necessary. So we have that, and the community there is just so amazing. The community support, anytime somebody's struggling, people just come out of the woodworks and lift them up and support them, tell them how they got through a tough time. It's really beautiful. Okay. Then we also do twice monthly live Q&A calls. We use Zoom, just like this, and people can see us, we can see them. We have a face-to-face conversation, and we answer questions. So that's our large group program. We have a small group program.
How much is your large group?
So the cost of the program is $399 for a full year. So we are, like you opened up the show with, long-term success. That's what we're about at Mastering Diabetes. We want people to join at an affordable rate.
Wow.
Most people pay that much for a lot less time. And we want people to succeed in the long term. So we want people to join and understand this is a marathon, not a sprint. You're going to be with us for a while. Take your time. We had a monthly program initially, and a lot of people, they were getting a little too anxious, and it wasn't helping them, wasn't serving them. So we've decided to make it a year-long commitment at this time.
I love it. I love it. When people become a sponsor, I always say, this has to be a year-long commitment, because you plant seeds, and if you pull out before you see the fruit of your planting, your hard labor, then that's not good either. And
right.
So I am absolutely curious and intrigued, just like I was when I was eating raw vegan, and it didn't support me. After 3 years, there were certain things that were happening to my body. And so then I shifted. But I will tell you, I loved eating raw vegan. It is very difficult socially.
For sure.
And so changing, and I don't have a problem with difficult situations. I embrace it. So I bring it, it's like bring it on. But, eating, whole food, plant-based, and preparing foods and being able to bring everybody around the table is, as a mom, a Spanish, Italian, ethnic, type of lifestyle, that food was so important. Walking away from how I grew up, Mark Ramirez and I have a lot in common, because growing up Spanish in a Spanish household, the foods that I was eating was killing me. There were it was, from 16 years old. And so my food journey has been very, very different than my family. And so I've had, I guess, to ignore the ridicules. Sometimes we need to ignore the ridicule and say, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to try this because my body needs what it needs, not one size fits all. So because I believe that, Robby, I've just I go, okay, I'm whole food, plant-based. I can eat everything I want. And then in the back of my mind, I'm hearing, okay, high fat, high protein, that's so important.
For sure.
And so, but I'm hearing low fat.
Yes. Low fat is key here. And also, there's a lot of different ways to do raw vegan, to be honest. Most people who do raw vegan are also eating too much fat. Very few people
are. Too much sugar, too.
Just a lot of things. Very few people are doing it properly. So I'm super excited for you. This is going to be really fun. And the community is going to rally behind you. I can't wait to see these photos on Insta Stories. And I'm going to tell people to go check out what you're doing as well. And they'll comment and support you. And
that would be great. Now, an Instagram, because I do a radio show, my Instagram is certainly just geared towards, my guests and everything. So let's talk off the air and how we can make this work so that everybody is in my journey, my 7-day journey. I'm making a commitment right now, Robby, that I'm adjusting starting today.
And here's the one thing, as part of this journey that's going to be a requirement here, I'm asking for you, is at the end of every day, I want you to be able to answer one simple question.
What is it?
I want you to confidently and accurately tell me how many grams of fat you ate.
Chronometer, here I come.
Listen, and I want to tell, I speak from experience here. I'm not asking you to do anything I haven't done. For 365 consecutive days, I documented every single piece of food that went into my mouth. I took a picture of it. I put it into Chronometer, and I posted it on the internet. You can go see it right now. 365 days in a row. This is before Instagram. This is before, we all knew that people love to see food pictures and all that, okay? And I also documented every blood glucose reading and every insulin injection, all on this website. But anyways, the point is, all I'm asking you to do is give me this data for 7 days,
okay,
all right?
So how much fat and calories?
Yeah, so I don't care about calories. Okay. What this means is for you to give me this data, that means there's a lot of things that must go into play. This means you're going to have to take the time to enter it into Chronometer. You have to take the time to write down and give me some accurate numbers. Okay? But that's it. So 7 days in a row, tell me the total grams of fat you ate. and this is going to be a life-changing experience. As simple as that.
I'm going to be your newest case study. I'm telling you, you're going to use
I can't wait.
as a what not to do. And here I am, I am eating as clean as I possibly can. Even within this, we bring our baggage from our past. This is what you need to eat, and this is how you need to eat. And people who are diabetic are probably, if I'm going through this, everybody's going through this. I'm wondering, for those of you who are watching us on Facebook that are just waking up from California knowing Robby is here. Like, let's go check him out. People
why don't we turn this into a challenge for everybody? Why don't we call this the 7-day fat awareness challenge?
Okay.
So
what is involved, Robby? We need to tag you.
Here we go. I'm gonna post this on an Insta story right now. All right, here we go. Let's see. All right.
Oh, we forgot to do that at the beginning.
Go to the gallery. Okay, guys, I'm on the radio here with Lillian McDermott here, and we are gonna start a 7-day challenge. It's the 7-day fat awareness challenge. Okay, for 7 days in a row, you're gonna report exactly how many grams of fat you ate. You're gonna use Chronometer to figure it out, get an accurate number, and tag me and tag @MasteringDiabetes. All right, it's a 7-day challenge. You ready for this?
Yeah, can I get tagged too? I am ready. I'm ready. Who are you on Facebook.com/Lillian's radio show and Mastering Diabetes, Mindful Diabetic. Is it Diabetic Robby?
Yep, Mindful Diabetic.
I'm going to tag the heck out of you, and I am going to see how this changes. I was scheduled for a colonoscopy on Monday, and I have postponed it, and now I know why. It's because I want to give myself 7 days to let my body go back to healing, because I am like a avocado. I'm an avocado and junkie, and I love coconut cream milk that's unsweetened, and so now I'm going to make some changes to see if that could be what's causing my
Here we go. This is
Here we go. So I'm going to fasten my
seatbelt.
I am going to fasten my seatbelt, and I'm going to learn and grow with Robby and Mastering Diabetes. Even though I'm not diabetic, I think I have insulin resistive tendencies.
Yeah. I can tell you for sure, you're going to be maximizing your insulin sensitivity through this experiment. No questions.
I'm looking forward to it. Robby, I am grateful to you. And for those of you who are watching on Facebook Live and later on YouTube, once we upload this video, I want you to comment, say what you think, give me the thumbs up, or I don't like those, but that's okay though. So you can do it. We're an open book here. And you can also share, let people know, people that have diabetes, that they can take their health back, but maybe be curious about something new. Thank you so much, Robby. It's masteringdiabetes.org, and 7-day challenge has begun.
Beautiful.
We'll see you on Facebook. I'm going to turn off my Facebook right now, and I will also turn off my recording of YouTube. See ya. Say bye, Robby.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining.